Welcome back. Fighting the fast food labor shortage, chains like Pizza Hut, Checkers, and Church's Chicken soon offering employees expedited pay, meaning workers can opt to get a part of their paycheck just a day after their shift instead of waiting 2 weeks. Fast food restaurants are struggling to keep employees, with the U.S. seeing record unemployment opportunities. Joining us right now is the former CEO of CKE Restaurants, former Labor Secretary nominee, and the author of The Capitalist Comeback, the Trump Boom and the Left's Plot to Stop It, author Andy Puzder. Andy, it's great to see you.
Good to see you, Maria.
Thank you so much for joining us. So what's going on in terms of labor with these fast food companies?
Well, you've got 1.3 million more job openings than you have people unemployed. So if everybody that's actively looking for a job took a job, you'd still have 1.3 million job openings. Now, when President Trump took office, there were 2 million more unemployed people than job openings. So we've had a complete switch, and it's really had a significant impact in the labor market. People really don't think about it, but we all compete. Fast food, Amazon, Costco, Target. If you've got low-skilled jobs, we're all competing for the same workers. A lot of the bigger companies have gone to $15 an hour. That's tough for some of these fast food restaurants, so they've got to find other ways to appeal to employees. And this is a great, whatever you can do to get more people in, more workers in, the better. So I think this is a great idea.
Interesting. Interesting.
Andy, I've been talking about this, but given the focus both on the political campaign trail and in the country, article in the Journal today about the burden on millennials, about student debt. At what point do you think a lot of these companies, they're not just focused on training their lower skill workers, but really pulling people right out of high school and saying, we want to put you on a management track. We want to train you to work in this business long term, and just skipping over the 4-year degree, which if you're going to go into like a management field, a lot of them are just worthless.
Well, a lot of the degrees don't prepare you for any job when you get out of college. So it's an important thing to do. When I was running CK, we had a tuition reimbursement program and a books reimbursement to try and draw people in by offering to help pay for their college. And in some cases, the tuition reimbursement actually would have covered the expense at community college and some state schools. But bringing people in right from high school is a great idea. The sooner you can get people into the workforce, in our case, restaurants, the sooner you get them in, the more they can learn about the business. And if you've got a general manager running a business at a Carl's, they're running a $1.4 million business in a $1 million facility with 25 employees. They have P&L responsibility. It's almost like a mini MBA program. So get them in. Get them in.
Let's talk 2020 for a second, because we've got a lot of headlines on this morning. Pete Buttigieg held a Fox News town hall last night. The South Bend, Indiana mayor and 2020 Democratic hopeful spoke out about taxing the wealthy. Watch this.
You don't blow a hole in the budget with an unnecessary and unaffordable tax cut for the very wealthiest. We really do need to entertain ideas like I would say a fairer, which means higher, marginal income tax rate on those earning the most, a reasonable wealth tax or something like that to make sure that people are giving back when they become enormously wealthy, and also closing the corporate tax loopholes and incentives for offshoring that have it to where pretty much everybody in this room probably paid more, personally, in federal income taxes than some of the most wealthy multinational corporations like Amazon that made billions in profits and paid zero last year.
So it looks like one of his plans is to raise taxes. He has a problem with where the corporate rate is, so he wants to raise the corporate rate. He wants to do a wealth tax, just like Elizabeth Warren wants to do a wealth tax, unconstitutional, as you've said in the past. It's basically taking away your wealth that you've earned. And then you've got Kamala Harris out saying that she's going to seek fines if any company is unable to close the gender pay gap. He wants everybody making the same. If it's not that, then you're going to pay fines for that. Your reaction?
Well, number one, cutting taxes has had tremendous benefits for American workers. We had really 92 months where wage growth was under 3% under Obama and Biden. Now we've had 9 months in a row where it's been over 3%. We've got more people working than have ever worked in the history of the country. We've got tremendous economic growth, in part because of those tax cuts. And what Buttigieg ignores is the fact that tax revenue is up. We've increased tax revenue even though we've taken the rates down. Everybody's better off. Everybody's better off. And the reason that we're having a bigger deficit is we spend too much. And if we don't address non-discretionary spending, which includes entitlements, if we don't look at them, there's no way we can reduce the budget deficit. So we have to look at that. We have to continue to incentivize growth.
So, Andy, if you're one of these 23 Democrats that are running for president in 2020 against Trump and against this economy, how should they attack this issue? How should they try and appeal to voters, given that the economy is where it is?
Well, you know, it's funny. Biden went out and tried to take credit for the economy. I don't know if you saw it this week, and he said,
no, he didn't.
He said,
yeah, he
did. No, he said Trump is going to squander the economy he inherited from
Biden and Obama.
Now, look. The last 2 years of the Obama presidency, GDP was 1.9%, right? Okay, so for the first full year under President Trump, 2018, it was 3%. That's a 50% improvement. If you look at the last 4 quarters, it's 3.3%. That's a 75% improvement. We've got wages up. We've got job openings up. What on earth are these people talking about? They've got a very difficult problem. They have to try and convince voters that Trump's financial success is first of all, due to them. And at the same time, they're hoping he'll fail.
So,
they're hoping there'll be an economic reversal.
It's either, well, it was our plan, or it's, I'm not feeling it. What economic, you can't have both, but that's what you're getting.
But again, don't spit in my face and tell me it's raining. If my wages are growing, people in like manufacturing and leisure and hospitality, people who have working class jobs, their wages are growing faster than people in management. We've seen that in the most recent month. There was some recent data from the Labor Department. I mean, it's incredible at how much wage growth has picked up this far along into an economic recovery. The American people know that. They don't, and when you tell them something that isn't true, when you say only the rich got a tax cut, no, 80% of households got a tax cut. They know they know from their own personal experience.
I think they would much prefer some honesty. President Trump has done a good job with his economic policies, but, and say what you want. But it's very hard to make believe this is not happening.
Well, so you've got to convince people that the Obama-Biden economic policies only took effect and were beneficial after President Trump was elected and after he cut taxes and after he reduced regulation, basically reversing all of their economic policies. I mean, it's an absurd position, but it's what they're stuck with. The economy is on fire.
Yeah, it really is. Andy, it's great to see you.
Great humor.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Andy Puzder joining us there.